From the bowling capital of the world, America's #1 bowling show. Championship Bowling. From the Firestone Bowlerama here in Akron, Ohio, it's Championship Bowling. Hello, everybody. I'm Fred Wolf. Two more of a field of 24 of the world's greatest professional bowlers competing for a prize fund of some $70,000. This is the final week. Next week, we start the World Series of Championship Bowling. The two boys left to try to qualify will be Buzz Fazio from Detroit, Andy Marzich from Redondo Beach, Torrance, Los Angeles, California. Working with us, Bill Bonetta. Bill, come on in. Let's talk about this one.
Thank you, Fred.
Well, it looks like what do you say? The die is cast. As it figures out, we have Harry Smith on top in his two appearances, 14:01. For Nelson Burton Jr., 13:29. With Buzz Fazio going in with 6:51, Marzich with 6:21. The figures are obvious. I think you have them all figured out. What does Fazio need?
I believe he needs 679.
And Marzich?
709.
709.
Rather than talk about the individual styles of these two bowlers, I'd like to talk about the individuals themselves. Buzz Fazio has been blessed with 8 grandchildren, but even at his age, he concedes nothing to anyone in a PBA, and he's all heart. We've watched him for many years. Andy Marzich has earned the reputation of being a winner. He's able to get the key strike, the key game, when he needs it, so this should prove very interesting to all.
Not only the match itself, but both boys are shooting for that magic number. Fazio 679, Marzich 709. It should be interesting.
Very interesting.
Get ready, Bill, because we should really be sizzling here in Akron, Ohio this week on Championship Bowling. Let's bring them out. Introducing first, from Detroit, Michigan, Buzz Fazio. How are you, my boy?
Fine, Fritz.
Well, you're right here in your old hometown. This is where you originated from, isn't it?
That's
where
right.
you started?
Correct.
I understand you used to work for the Firestone Tire and Rubber Company. Is that true?
Yes, I put in about 6-7 years for him.
What did you used to do? Make tires?
No, I was too small to make tires. I just inspected them after they made them. That's a lot easier.
And now you handle a 16-pound bowling ball in pretty good shape, as you have over these many, many years.
I've been pretty fortunate, Fritz.
You know the magic number?
Yes.
What is it?
679.
679.
But there's a guy by the name of Andy Marzich I got to worry about, too.
He needs 709.
Mm-hmm.
Let's bring him out here, ladies and gentlemen. Andy Marzich. Andrew?
Yes, sir.
Andrew John, is that right?
That's right.
How do you feel about a 709?
Well, I'd like to shoot it. I've shot it before, and just a matter of breaks and how sharp you are. I can't throw my natural ball here on this pair. They haven't changed a heck of a lot since the last time I was here, so I'm just going to try to go for that pocket and hope that I don't get tapped too many times.
Well, there's an interesting thing here. If both of you boys shoot the, in other words, if Buzz gets more than 679 and you get more than 709, you still got to beat him to get into that spot, Nelson Burton's spot, which is vulnerable at the time.
Well, I go into a match like this not shooting for that particular 709. I just want to beat Buzz, and I'm sure if Buzz is always sharp, it's going to take that much to beat him, I think.
All right, boys, a little handshake. We're underway in Akron, Ohio. Are you ready for this one? All right, we'll get to the first game in just a moment, right after this interesting word. The buzzer from Detroit, Buzz Fazio, won the toss, elected to start on the left side. Buzz Fazio against Andy Marzich. The final match of the qualifying rounds on Championship Bowling. From Akron, Ohio, he will be high. Brooklyn's side does not kick out the 6-pin. Almost got away with one. Bill Bonetta with us again this week, our statistician, Sam Baca. And Bill, I'm just wondering, when you have to come up with a respective total, as both these boys do do you think about staying away from the nose, knowing that a split is going to make it that much difficult? Or do you just let them fly?
No, it's too late to be cautious, Fred. When you need scores like 679 and 709, you go for broke, and that is keep the ball in the pocket, keep it alive, and take your chances.
Andy Marzich, California star. Up, in, and there's the 8-10 on what looked like to be a pretty good hit.
Ooh, boy, when he let that ball go, I would have called it a strike. Had the hit been a little lighter, he'd had a better chance. He hit right in the zone. That's very dangerous. In between, but not solid.
So Marzich will probably just take one. He's shooting at the 8-pin. And is open in the first frame. So Fazio out in front, the margin 10 pins at the end of the first game. Here are the leaders at the end of 2 appearances. Harry Smith, 690. He defeated Bob Strampy. Came back with 711 when he defeated Don Carter, who had a respectable 675. So Smith, the leader, with 1401, an average of 233 for the 6 games. Marzich right back in the pocket. The 8-10 split certainly didn't bother him a bit. Keep hitting the pocket.
No, Andy has a certain coolness about him, which he acquired, I'd say, 2 years ago, and it helped him to become a true champion. Before that, he was very consistent, but wasn't able to win, and now he has gained a certain something that's made him a winner.
Be careful. Too high. Fazio. High on both of his turns here on the lanes. All competition for each game starts on the left side, lane 23, our left. Then the competition moves from right to left, each bowler bowling 2 complete frames. Cross lane, 610. And the cover. So the buzzer now has completed 2 frames, should be loosened up, still looking for his first strike. It was Smith with 1401. Nelson Burton is the man in jeopardy. Nelson won both matches, defeating Ray Bluth with 694. He defeated Jack Biondolillo with 635. His total, 1329, and that's a 221 average. Too high again, and the 610.
And speaking of Burton, what a wonderful pocket shooting exhibition he put on, Fred. A young man who's come up just recently, and his father, of course, was the Hall of Famer, and he has really taken over.
The AMF spare-maker indicating the ball between the 2 pins, and that's 3 consecutive spares for Buzz Fazio. Marzich now in slow motion. And Marzich shakes one up on the thin side. That didn't look to be as good a ball as the 8-10 he left in the first frame.
Well, that shows you he wasn't timid. Usually when you get an 8-10, you kind of take a chance and jam the next one. He actually swung the ball out further. Light hit worked very well, so we should see a few more of those.
5 strikes in a row. In any one game, we start a $250 bonus. Marzich goes for 3. There it is. So Andy coming back beautifully after an 8-10. He's had 4 balls in the pocket. Fazio has yet to hit the pocket, covering 3 spares. Tommy Tuttle from King, North Carolina, was 3rd high with 1292. That's out there. Way out there. The 1, 2, 4, 10, and the buzzer could be open. Here's a tough shot.
Well, it would appear to me, Fred, that Buzz is just a little overly cautious. He went high a couple of times trying to get loose. Couldn't get the lift, and a washout was the result.
Beautiful shot. Well, we might remember that one, Bill, if the buzzer ever gets loose here and starts stringing them out. If he gets up around 679 or gets better than 679, that might have been the shot. We'll try to chalk that one up here. We go into the Fifth frame for Fazio. 4 spares. High the first 3 frames. Out too far in the fourth. Now into 1-3 pocket, and that's the old relaxer right there.
Beautiful stroke on that ball. That's the style which we've been accustomed to seeing Buzz use. A loose arm swing, straight down the second arrow usually.
Going for 4. Marzich got to hurry. Doesn't get there. 2-5. Seemed like Andy couldn't get out of that one.
Actually, he didn't get his thumb out in time, as you called, Fred, and therefore didn't have a chance for his fingers to lift the ball.
2-5. Covered by Marzich. So we're halfway in the first game. Buzz Fazio is 72 on a strike. Marzich is 87 on a spare. We're in the 6th. Marzich is back. A little tight. Leaves the 4-pin. Looking over the top scorers, it was Smith, Burton, Tuttle. 4th, Mike Lemongello. The youngster from New York had 1260. Ed Bourdet, 1249. Ray Bluth, 1239. Detroiter Dave Sutar, 1233. Fred Lenning, 1228. And George Howard, 1221. Don Carter, 1220. St. John, 1217. Those were the leaders. Fazio for the double. He's there. Now the young fella is off. We say young fella because that's just what he is, isn't he, Bill?
I have to laugh, Fred, because we have a saying that it takes veterans 4 frames to warm up, and that's exactly what it took Buzz. 2 on each lane.
So this match just about even. We're going into the 7th. Fazio is on 2. 679. That's the magic number for Fazio. 709 for Marzich. Going for 3. 10-pin out of there. Nice kick. Oh, that 6-pin just reached up there and gave it a little nudge. And we have the triple for Fazio as we watch Andy Marzich, the California star, in the 7th. Well, Andy just didn't get there again. That's twice he's been short here on the right side. He came in here on a triple, left the 2-5. That time almost the 2-5, nothing but the 2-pin. Swinging just a little bit too much here on the right side. We're at the end of 7. Fazio is on 3. Marzich is on a spare. You know, this game of bowling, just like baseball and football, starts with youngsters, both as participants and as fans. Did you know, Mom, that there are leagues for youngsters and that many bowling centers give instructions? Why don't you check your nearby bowling center? Inquire about children's leagues or about instructions for yourself and your children. Little action. And Marzich back with a strike in the 8th. Bowling's great fun, believe me. Makes you feel like you'd like to.
Oh, especially when you get strikes like Andy got right there. He looks like he's deliberately playing for a light hit, and he's got a very effective ball. That scrambling hit is one of his favorites. We should see plenty of those.
Fazio is on 3. Does he give it enough room? He's too high. 4-7. Fazio not going wide enough here on the right side. Marzich has been trying to crowd them in the pocket. Going around. Fazio crowding. Marzich going around. And just kicking out everything but the 2 and the 2-5. There's the cover.
Well, this is about as serious as I've ever seen Buzz. Fred, we all know that he's a delightful performer, a showman, and he loves to smile, put on a little act. He's quite serious about that score, bearing down with every pitch.
Well, it was interesting in that the buzzer was very happy to be right in this spot. He says, I like to know what I need. So he knows what he needs. 679. No bonus money for Fazio in this game. Marzich still eligible as he moves in the ninth on a strike. The big sweep. Here it comes. Too high. So after being short a couple of times, Andy gave that one the big lift.
Well, that's what happens when you just fish a little bit, man. Actually, he's not off. He's just so close to that pocket zone.
There's a cover for Marzich. We go into the 10th frame. The margin, 5 pins, and the buzzer out in front of Andrew John Marzich, bowling out of Los Angeles, California. Resides in Torrance, California. Actually born in Cleveland in 1935. Out on the West Coast when he was 11 years old. Been a big man on the PBA tour for the past 4 years. 5-pin is still there. Not getting the kick that he wanted. Andy's shaking his head. And the cover. The count for 204. Marzich, who started this game with an 8-10, came right back with 3 strikes. He was short in the 5th, 6th, 7th, got a strike in the 8th, was high in the 9th, and a bit on the short side here in the 10th, leaving the 5-pin.
Well, we can expect some kind of a test shot here.
Well, he tested and managed to get 9, getting out of there pretty good for 203. Oh, we were watching the buzzer, Bill, sitting there. He knows the importance of this frame. The difference between 210 and 230.
That's they call it pile-up frame. Here's where you, if you have a strike in the 9th, you pile up the wood, in the 10th.
If he gets this one, I'd give him a good chance for the second one. It's out there. Here it comes. It's there, and he carries, and look out. The buzzer is on the beam.
And that was what I call a well-executed shot. He was free, he was smooth. He gave the ball the room that was necessary to hit lane 24 in his mind.
He actually didn't go around too much that time, Bill. It was more coming in a little even to the outside of the second diamond. Now, he has been swinging with it. There's the swinger. Right there, boy, and there's the 230. So, ladies and gentlemen, he's maintaining that average. He must average 226 plus 1 somewhere. So he has his 226 in this, the first game. Full count will give him 230. What a big frame this has been. And we look back at that 1-2-4-10. I'm not going to let you forget that, Bill.
That's a big
Here it is.
spare.
One more. And that's 4 in a row for the buzzer. And, of course, not enough for bonus money.
I'm in a familiar
We
spot
have
again.
an opportunity.
Behind.
Andy, we find that on the right side, you were short a couple of times and then tried to hold one.
Well, that 8-10 in the first frame unnerved me, I think. I had the lane zeroed in pretty good before we started in that 8-10.
Well, you come right back with 3. And for the buzzer, he's just 1 short of bonus money, buzzer. That game's a frame short.
Oh, the key shot was about the 8th frame, I guess.
Well, the 1-2-4-10 wasn't a bad shot either, Buzz. I tell you, you may be happy with that one when this is all over. We're standing by for the second game of 3 on Championship Bowling. Fred Wolf, along with Bill Bonetta, in Akron, Ohio, the home of Firestone. In the first frame of the second game, Marzich climbs up on top of the 2-4-5-8. Andy has a strike to go on. All eyes are on the buzzer from Detroit, Buzz Fazio.
needing 679 to oust Nelson Burton Jr., who sits in the second spot. This is the final match preceding Championship Bowling's World Series, which starts next week. First one, he leaves the 7-pin. Next week, here at Akron, Ohio, it'll be the two top qualifiers, Harry Smith and Nelson Burton Jr., or possibly Harry Smith and Buzz Fazio, or possibly Smith and Marzich. There's 2 games to go. 2 weeks from today, it'll be Dick Weber meeting Billy Hardwick, the 2 seeded stars, the National All-Star champion Weber and the Firestone Open Tournament of Champions winner Billy Hardwick. The 2 winners of the 2 matches over the next 2 weeks will meet in the finals for the final 2 weeks in the World Series, an added purse of $17,500. In addition to that, bonus money. Be careful. Too high. Got away with it. 3-6.
Well, just a little bit careful again. Buzz started out the first game in a similar fashion. Didn't seem to have the drive, didn't seem to have the swing that is necessary to hit that line the way he likes to. But I'm sure he'll fall into a groove.
Oh, he threw the old thumper at that one, Bill.
We've seen quite a few thumpers lately in championship bowling.
Andy Marzich, trailing by 27 pins in the first game. Got to hurry. He just got a piece of the pocket, almost got away with it. He dropped that one. Double dribbled.
Andy's not coming out of the ball as cleanly as he'd like. By that I mean you could see a little hesitation at the release point. Either he drops it or he sort of gives a little upward jerk, which doesn't lend to a good rolling ball.
Marzich with the cover. And Fazio out in front by 25 pins. $1,000 to the winner. 5 strikes in a row in any one game. The start of a $250 bonus. $50 for each additional strike. Going into this match, the bonus money amounted to $4,150. Too much. And the 4th pin. Boy, he gave that a lot of fingers.
Yes, he did. He actually drove that ball forward. A lot of fingers. Trying to jam the pocket, I'm sure, and left the 4 pin.
The 4 is covered by Marzich. 39 spare. Fazio starting this, the second game, much like the first game. He started with 4 spares. And his 4th spare was a very difficult 1-2-4-10, and he followed that with a triple. Spare in the 8th went all the way for 230. Big finisher. Be careful. Oh, he kicked that 4-7 out of there beautifully. Started string 2 frames earlier, Billy. He just might not need too many in the next game, but he needs that string right here.
Well, of course, the more pins he gets this game, the less he'll need the next game. He's well aware of that.
How's that look? All right, the old accordion ball. A high one and one right in between. That's the one to carry, that in-betweener. So Fazio now is 40 pins actually into that 79 that he needs, over 600. Good shaker, but the 7 pin is still there. Marzich shaking his head. There's a cover by Marzich. And we're at the end of 4 in the second game, almost halfway. Fazio on 2. Marzich is 58 with a spare in the 4th. Do you know that Goodwill Industries provide employment to more than 60,000 handicapped men and women annually? Contribute repairable clothing, household articles to Goodwill Industries. Doesn't get there, the 2, 4, and the 5. The AMF spare maker indicating the ball between the 2 and the 5. The 5 pin is the one, of course, that keeps the boys thinking. Don't pick it. He did not. Nice shot. And we watch the grandfather of 8 and Mrs. Fazio in the audience. And I'm sure she'll be swinging with this one, Bill.
Boy, what her she's been throughout the years, Freddie.
Too high, too high, too high. And that has got to prove quite an obstacle here to the buzzer in the 5th frame. That he could not stand. That means to pick this one up, unless he can convert it, he's got to get a triple.
He'll give it a go.
He's going to do it. Well, he loses pins and counts, but as you say, he just had to take a shot at it. So at the end of 5, Fazio is 92 open, Marzich is 75, and he is on the spare. Well, it looks like that 6-7 has bothered the veteran a bit, Bill.
Yes, it appeared to unnerve him more than somewhat. Buzz usually has a beautiful push away, nice backswing, easy release.
All right. Notice Buzzer had a comment for his bride, Bill, explaining to her just what happened.
Seeking a little encouragement, I'm sure.
Good turn. Good ball by Marzich here in the 6th. As Andy now begins to close the gap in this one. Marzich against Buzz Fazio. Next week, the 2 top scorers in the semifinals. Right now, it's Harry Smith and Nelson Burton Jr. 2 weeks from this show, you will see 2 of the great ones. Dick Weber meet Billy Hardwick. The 2 winners start the final. A 4-pin by Marzich. The World Series of Bowling on Championship Bowling starts next week. Don't miss it. And it's quite a field, Bill, isn't it? Harry Smith, Nelson Burton, Dick Weber, and Billy Hardwick. The cover for Marzich in the 7th. 115 spare as Fazio moves in the 7th frame, and the buzzer is working on a spare. 4-pin for Fazio in the 7th. A pretty tight hit, Bill.
Yes, he drilled that one right into the pocket. I heard quite a few in the audience gasp. They thought perhaps he should have had that one. And Buzz certainly would have liked to have had a strike there.
There's the cover for Fazio in the 7th. The buzzer now 111 spare. Marzich is 115 spare. The margin here in the 2nd game, 4 pins. Fazio won the first game by 27. The margin, 23. But the buzzer thinking of the magic number, 679. He needs 449. The next 2 games, this game and the final. Back in the pocket. Carries all but the 7, and that could have been 2. The frames are beginning to run out for Fazio.
It's really tough to bowl up to a certain score. Sometimes you get geared up, you get way beyond that, but that score is facing him now, and he knows he has to go. Stringer strikes is the only chance now.
There's the cover for Fazio in the 8th. He still can get out of here with 210. If he goes all the way, that would mean 239 in the final game. So it's a big 2 frames coming up for Fazio. Here's Andy Marzich. Big turn. Oh, that ball moved awfully quick at the pocket.
Well, Andy's finding that his type of curvature is a little harder to control than Buzz's line ball. Andy's got a powerful ball. He really gives that ball a lot of fingers at the release point.
At the 7 and the cover. From Akron, Ohio, it's championship bowling. Fred Wolf along with Bill Bonetta. This is the final match in the qualifying rounds. It's Harry Smith with 14:01 for his 2 appearances. Nelson Burton Jr., the vulnerable one, with 13:29. He doesn't get there. Leaves nothing but the 5. Almost get them both out of there. The other top scorers, Tommy Tuttle from King, North Carolina, had 12:92. Mike Lemongello, the youngster from the Bronx in New York, 12:60. Ed Bourdain, 12:49. Ray Bluth, 12:39. Dave Suton, 12:33. Fred Lenning, 12:28. George Howard, 12:21. There is still room for the buzzer. Let's watch him in slow motion. And that could well have been a triple. So as we mentioned, Bill, he's got to go all the way now for 210. That keeps it within reach. He'll only need 239 in the final. Without this strike, he'll need 259 or possibly a 260 game.
That strike in the 9th frame is what we call a load-up frame. And Buzz, in both games, got a strike in the 9th. Let's see if he can get 2 in the 10th again.
There it is. Oh, for those 2 strikes in the 7th and 8th. The buzzer could have actually got out of here with another 230 game had he carried in the 7th and 8th. This is exactly what he did in the first game. He had a strike in the 9th, 170 in the 8th, 200 in the 9th, and 230 in the 10th, finishing with 4 strikes. And he's got to do it again. Big ball. He's too high. So it'll be 199 for the buzzer. That'll put him at 429. He will need 250 the last game.
Makes it quite an order for Fazio, although he can do it naturally.
199. Andy Marzich on a spare. He needs a double to win this game. Game 2. Here's the big turn. He doesn't get there. Nothing but the 2-pin. Next week on Championship Bowling, the 2 top scorers in their 2 appearances here at the Firestone Bowlorama in Akron, Ohio. In 2 weeks, it'll be Dick Weber, the National Open champion, against Billy Hardwick. The 2 winners will meet in the final 2 weeks, 6 games, total pins to decide the champion of the World Series of Championship Bowling. Starting next week, an added purse of $17,500, plus, of course, the bonus money, which the bowlers must win by starting on 5 in a row. The full count for Marzich, 192. So Fazio, the winner of the second game, 199. Marzich, 192. 1 big game to go. Will it be Smith and Burton? Will it be Smith and Fazio in 1 game? We'll find that out. From Akron, Ohio, the home of the Professional Bowlers Association, it's Championship Bowling. The start of the 3rd game. A little guy with a big heart from Detroit, Buzz Fazio, needs 250. 250. And there's the first one. 9 frames to go. Well, Bill, you're going to give him a shot at it?
Yes, Bud is a veteran, and Buzz is capable of doing anything, and he may go all the way, in fact. 250 is within reach.
Marzich tears them apart. Fazio out in front here for the $1,000. His margin is 34 pins, but I don't think the buzzer's thinking too much of that. It's interesting that if Marzich goes all the way for 300, he will still be short of Nelson Burton. But he won't be short in his pocketbook because a 300 score is worth $10,000 in this ABC-sanctioned competition, and he only needs 10 more. And like we say, Bill, if you can do it with a pencil, you can do it with your bowling ball.
And I have seen him in the past few years come through with just the game he needs.
Well, Andy, along with Don Carter, were the winners of the CBS TV Best Ball Doubles Classic, which carried a $12,000 top prize. And the buzzer taking a new set here on the strike. He's got to have every strike he can get. He's too high, and the right side again.
Well, it was quite apparent that Buzz didn't go through his shot. He cut short, gave the ball an extreme lift, and actually pulled it, which resulted again in a 4-6.
So Fazio open in the second. And Marzich now closing the gap for the $1,000 in this, the final match. Championship Bowling's World Series starts next week from Akron, Ohio. Well, Fazio has had the 2 wide opens on the right side. Ball moving just too much. Nice reach. Marzich now has practically closed the gap. 3 in a row. And he moves left. 5 in a row, the start of a $250 bonus. Neither boy has cashed bonus money in the first 2 games.
I'm going to say this in the kindest way possible. Here's another great opportunist, Andy Marzich. Give him a chance, which he has now, to beat Buzz Fazio, and he'll certainly take advantage of it.
Gotta hurry. He doesn't get there the 2-4-5. Andy's been a pretty big boy on the PBA Tour. In '63, he won $30,000, winning 3 PBA events. On the '65 Winter Tour, he won over $8,000, averaged 208 along the route, cover, and it's a spare for Marzich in the 4th. So Fazio has 1 way to go. He needs a string of strikes a mile long for a 250. That's out there. Oh, yeah. Well, we're still alive.
Well, that was the old wedge shot or accordion strike. Indication that Buzz rolled that ball extremely well. It was alive when it hit. It was light, but it opened up the pins.
Speaking of wedge shots, Billy, here's one of the real great amateur golfers. The buzzer, a former Akron amateur champion some years ago. Plays practically scratch golf. 1 more. All right, still alive. Hang on, don't go away. You just might see a miracle coming up here as Andy Marzich moves in on the right side. Fazio needs 250. In the 5th, Marzich is back. So at the end of 5, with 5 frames to go, Fazio, with a big split in the 2nd, works on 3. Marzich is 97 in the 4th, and he has a strike in the 5th. Good turn. 10 pins stops him.
Well, once again, Fred, that 6-pin just laid in the right channel. And pretty good sign that he was a little light on the head pin.
Well, Bill, you've been looking at that score. How far does Fazio have to go here to get 250?
He's got to get 5 more in a row.
Any spare between now and the second ball in the 10th frame would check him in at less than 250. How about that one? Oh! Still alive. I notice Nelson Burton Jr. is here, I believe, in Akron at the Firestone Bolorama, and I imagine that Nellie is watching off in the wings somewhere. Here's a man almost 3 times his age, if that's possible. Almost. The buzzer in the 7th. He must strike or finish 3rd. The 4th pin stops him, and it is Harry Smith and Nelson Burton in Championship Bowling's World Series, and the buzzer is counting his change. Well, there was room with a pencil, but it took a little more than a pencil.
He certainly gave it a good go, though, didn't he, Fred? 4 strikes in a row, going for bonus, going for 250.
That 4-6 in the second frame just made it very difficult. So that puts this game just about even. Fazio still holding on to a 34-pin advantage here, with 4 frames to go for Marzich for the $1,000. Andy is short, gets away with nothing but the 5-pin.
Well, Andy is certainly rounding the ball now, coming in what we call a little bit behind the head pin, not giving himself quite the pocket that he needs to carry a strike.
Marzich with the cover. And we go into the 8th frame for Fazio, 137 spare, Marzich, 136 spare. These boys have some great records in their competition on Championship Bowling. Marzich averaging 218 for 18 games. Fazio averaging 218 for 42 games. I wonder how that 7-pin could stand up on a hit like that.
Well, those AMF pins were just flying all over there.
Marzich covering here in the 8th. And Buzz Fazio holding on in this match against Andy Marzich. A lead of 34 pins. Seven pin, that one rolling over the holes.
He stayed behind that a long time, didn't lift it, so the ball thumped about 3 or 4 times there.
At the 7, the cover. Fazio will have to keep filling in the last 2 frames with very good counts to finish 3rd. Tommy Tuttle has already checked in with 622 and 670 for a total of 1292. Next week, the start of Championship Bowling's World Series. It'll be Harry Smith against Nelson Burton Jr. In 2 weeks. Dick Weber and Billy Hartwell. The 2 winners will meet in the finals over the final 2 weeks. 6 games, total pins, $10,000 to the winner, $5,000 to the runner-up. The 3rd place finisher, $1,500. The 4th place worth $1,000. We're in the 9th. Marzich with a strike. Fazio with a strike. We go into the 10th.
Well, Fazio's loaded up in that 9th frame every game. It seems to be a habit with veteran bowlers especially, get that strike in the 9th.
Speaking of strikes, I think everybody likes a strike, Bill, and that friendly bowling proprietor of yours would like to have you stop in. Have a little fun. This is a great sport. Makes you feel like you'd like to feel. A double. Double for Marzich, and a chance to close out with 235. He can force Fazio to mark. high. Fazio will be the winner here, the final match of the qualifying rounds. So the youngster from St. Louis will meet a fellow townsman, Harry Smith from St. Louis, next week. That winner will qualify for the finals in 2 weeks. It'll be Weber and Marzich. Correction, Weber and Hardwick. That winner meeting the winner of the Smith-Burton match. Andy telling us how hard he has been working. 6:18 for Marzich. In the 10th, Fazio with that big strike. So that puts Buzz Fazio third, followed by Bluth, Sutar, Lenning, Howard, Carter, and St. John. The 2-5, the cover for 224. So the buzzer will come out with 6:53. 26. Look out. About 30 pins short of the 679. 223 for Buzz. 652 to 618. Fazio the winner over Marzich. We'll be around for the presentations, a word or two with these two fellas, and possibly meet the two boys that'll be going here next week, starting the World Series of Championship Bowling from Akron, Ohio, the rubber capital of the world.
Here are the final results for Andy Marzich. 203, 192, a 223 finish. The total was 618. For Buzz Fazio, 230, 199, 223, not enough. The total 652. The winner of the match this week, Fazio over Marzich. Did you enjoy this one, ladies and gentlemen? I say not enough. It was enough to win, Buzz, but I know you were thinking of another number. I believe it was 679.
Yeah, a little bit short, Freddie, but I'm lucky to get 652, to tell you the truth.
Well, you had 651 the first time. At least you're improving. If you can hang around for another 20 years, maybe we'll get a little 700.
I think I probably need about that longer time.
Well, it was here on the right side with the two wide-open splits. That was just about the story, as Bill Panetta put it, where you just let two get away from you.
Yeah, especially on this lane over here. No one's supposed to hit the nose on that arc.
That's right. All you do is throw it out, and everything else takes care of itself. Isn't that right, Andy?
Well, I don't have too much to say, Freddie. I think if I bowled again on this pair, I wouldn't beat that score. This pair don't fit my style.
They don't fit your style. I thought all the lanes were the same.
No, they're sure not. They're like fingerprints. There's no two alike.
Is that right, Andy? $500 is the runner-up share.
Well, thank you.
Buzzer, $1,000. You can give this to your wife, Bobby, and I'm sure she'll know what to do with it. Maybe those 8 grandchildren have a little part of that coming.
Well, after I take my cut out of it a little bit so I can have for skin money. You know.
Very good. Ladies and gentlemen, two great ones. Buzz Fazio and Marzich. Next week on Championship Bowling here in Akron, Ohio at the Firestone Bowlerama, we will start our World Series. And starting that will be the two top scorers in our past 22 matches, and they will be Harry Smith and Nelson Burton, Jr. Gentlemen, congratulations. Well, Harry, you were the big gun, 690, 711. Next week, we start from scratch.
Next week we bowl for all the money.
Now, you fellas understand the format, Nellie? Are you acquainted with what goes on starting next week?
Pretty well, Freddie.
All right, suppose you tell the folks how the World Series is going to work.
Well, Harry and I bowl a 3-game match, and the winner is seeded into the final match with the winner of the Hardwick-Weber match. We bowl 6 games.
And that match is in 2 weeks, and the winner, as you mentioned, this winner and next week's winner meet for the final 6.
6 games for the $10,000.
For a little $10,000. So how do you feel about going the 9-game route? Nellie, in shape for that? 3 weeks?
Oh, yeah. I'd like to be there, I'll tell you.
You like to be there. St. Louis can't lose in this one because one of you boys got to make the finals.
Well, can't make any predictions. I'll do my best.
Did you ever bowl against Harry before, head-to-head?
Well, we bowled in the finals in the PBA tournaments.
And how'd it go?
I think we're pretty even so far.
Even? Are you pretty even, Harry? You
well,
think?
I can't remember, but...
you can't remember.
I'm going to be bowling pins.
Next week, we'll get a good look at it, ladies and gentlemen. Let's give them a nice hand. You have 1 week to get into shape. Nelson Burton, Harry Smith. Good luck to you, boys. Sure hope you can join us here again next week at the Firestone Bowlerama in Akron, Ohio. The World Series will begin here on Championship Bowling. So speaking for myself and Bill Bonetta, this is Fred Wolf, just saying keep 'em bowling out there because it's great fun. Do you know why? I'll tell you why, because bowling makes you feel like you'd like to. See you next week. Matching shirts and slacks used on championship bowling by King Louie. Championship bowling is sanctioned by the American Bowling Congress, and we wish to thank AMF for their cooperation in helping us produce championship bowling.